Coming to the Tainted Tavern, come sit a while for free. We talk about our musings and devices we've been using.
Okay, hello, I've got another tobacco review for you today, and that is of a new tobacco blend, or at least relatively new. It's been out several months now, from Gladora Tobacco. I'm a big fan of Gladora Tobacco, their entire Pesci Canoe range. I loved the Latakia 40 flake. I was also quite taken with their Oriental flake, but this is they've brought out over the last few months. I only became aware of this in the last few days, but they brought out 3 aromatic tobaccos based on their usual recipe of Orientals, Virginias and Burley tobaccos, and that is Pesci Canoe Blue Pearl, which is the one I'm going to be talking about today. There's a Pesci Canoe Purple Pearl and a Pesci Canoe Neon Pearl. Now before I do the actual review, and I'm going to have to go out to the bothy of Broken Dreams today to smoke this tobacco because my wife's home, so I'm not allowed to smoke in the house, and if I do take a chance, she will definitely smell the tobacco because she's a Welshwoman. She will beat me within an inch of my life. So I'm going to be smoking this in a Blakemar Briar, which was actually a club pipe from a group I'm in, which is the UK Tobacco Club, which is a Facebook group. I've been in it for several years. This pipe dates all the way back to 2016, I believe. I think this may have even been the first club pipe. As I say, it's a Blakemar Briar. Blakemar make fantastic pipes. It's a really good, I think this is a loved shape. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before we touch the tobacco is the packaging that this Pesci Canoe comes in. This is a 50 gram tin, but I love these little tins. Now, it's got a wrapper around it, which I'm just going to break off here to show you the tobacco in the tin, and then I'll show you why I really like these tins. But there it is. So I've taken the side wrapper off there, so it flips out. It's an inch lid. It's well packaged inside. Got a seal which ensures freshness, and you can see the flake tobacco there. It's got the Gladora sign there. So this is Pesci Canoe Blue Pearl. But what I really like about these tins, ignoring the government health warning, which we get over here in the UK and I think all over Europe, and in America you get health warnings, but it's not quite as bad as this. But what I find, these tins are so good because they've got the hinge lid, really good for storage, and they're so pocket friendly, you know, so you can keep, when you've used all this tobacco, you can just put other tobacco in there if you want to carry it around with you, and I do that. Now, with these sticky health warnings, what I do, put the tobacco back in a moment to get the thing. What I do to save this tin is I get a ruler and I place it along the line there, and this peels off really easy. So let me show you. So I'm just going to put the ruler along the line there and run a knife in a straight line down there, like so, and then I'll simply peel away the health warning. Look how easy that is. Simply run a sharp blade down the line with a ruler, and there we are. There's my tin, which I just like the look of this, and in fact it looks really effective, doesn't it, with the black here and blue pearl. So let's do the same for the back. The back warning tells us tobacco smoke contains over 70 substances known to cause cancer. There we are, that's the back of the tin. And strike those with a knife dug in. But that's what I like to do with these tins. Now, let's crack it open a bit. We'll get this pipe filled, and then we'll retire to the bothy of Broken Dreams, where we'll partake in the pipe. They're really, really nice tins. So, nice seal there for freshness. Simply cut down it, and we'll see what aroma we get straight from the tin. There's a fair moisture level to this flake. Straight out of the tin. Let's get a flake out of there. So there's the flake. Nice moisture level to it. Not saturated though, so not overly wet. I think this is going to smoke quite well. Now the topping on you is chocolate and walnut, and there is a faint chocolatey aroma. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to break, say, half of this flake, put the rest back in, and I'm going to rub it out in my hand, like so. Rub it out a few times until it gets a consistency such, and that's probably enough for a full bowl. If not, just simply rub a little bit more of the flake out. So let's fill this pipe, and as I say, in a few moments we'll retire to the bothy of broken dreams and partake in the pipe. So yeah, that is plenty for a full bowl. And what I will do is have a little bit more scrapings, which I'll simply put back into the tin, because tobacco is an expensive thing and you don't want to waste any. So there we are. We've got the pipe now nice and full, to a reasonable level, tamped down, reasonable, not too tight, because you don't want to. The draw seems fine. A little bit of tobacco left on my table here. I'll just scrape this back into the tin. So there we have it. That's the Gladora tobacco opened. I'm really looking forward to smoking this tobacco, because, as I say, I've tried 2 different varieties from Gladora, and they were big hits for me. So I see no reason why this. Never done an aromatic. I've done the Pesicanoe Latakia 40, which was really to my taste, because I am a lover of Latakia tobaccos. I like English style blends, and 40% Latakia was very Latakia forward, so I really enjoyed that. If you're not a Latakia lover, then maybe that'll be a bit too strong for you. But I also did the Oriental Flake, which was enjoyable. Wasn't as big a hit with me as the Latakia, but that is purely down to personal taste. So before we retire to the bothy of Broken Dreams, have a sip of my whiskey. Before we retire to the bothy of Broken Dreams, let's give you another look at the Anson tin that this comes in, and I will be purchasing the other new varieties of Pesicanoe. I'll be getting the Neon Pearl and the Purple Pearl and reviewing those going forward on this channel. As I say, this one contains, it's listed as Turkish Oriental Flake Pipe Tobacco, but it actually contains Turkish tobaccos. There's Virginia and there's Burley, and of course the top dressing on this, because it's an aromatic, is chocolate and walnut. Anyway, without further ado, let's retire to the bothy of Broken Dreams. Okay then, here we are. It's a cold January afternoon and we're in the bothy of Broken Dreams. But we're going to warm up now with a nice pipe. As I say, this is Gladora Pesicanoe Blue Pearl. It's an aromatic. I do smoke aromatics from time to time, but I don't tend to buy a lot of aromatics. Whenever I order tobacco online, as I did with this, I usually tend to go more towards the English styles or the Balkan blends. But I was a big fan of the previous Pesicanoe tobaccos from Gladora that I'd smoked, and so I decided to try these now. I haven't tasted this yet, I haven't lit it yet, but I'm surmising that once upon a time, these days tobacco laws are so tight across the UK and certainly across Europe, that there are certain words can't be used that they used to use to describe tobaccos. For instance, a very well-known tobacco was Mellow Virginia. You're not allowed to use the word mellow anymore, so it's become Special Virginia. And another British popular aromatic was Bob's Chocolate Flake, which is now had to be renamed as Bob's Flake. So I've no doubt from the descriptor of this tobacco, this is before I tried it, mind, that this would have once been called something like chocolate flake, maybe Pesicanoe chocolate flake, whatever, but I don't think they can use the word chocolate now because of the draconian tobacco laws, so it's become Blue Pearl. But that's before I've tasted it, so, but I as I say, I do know that the topping is chocolate and walnut, so how that relates to the taste you get from the tobacco. I'm unsure at the moment, but we're going to spark a bowl to this now and spend a moment smoking my pipe.
As I watch the sun descending and the birds fly home to rest, in the hush when day is ending, that's the hour when I feel blessed. Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe. Like a whisper through the cornfield comes a gentle evening breeze. At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories. Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe. Those far-off places beyond the blue, familiar faces that once I knew.
You know, I was unsure then because on first light I was getting something that almost tasted like a chemically taste, but that seems to have dissipated now as the tobacco's got going. There is a chocolatey aroma on the nose, so the aromatic promise of chocolateness seems to be there.
I recall those days behind me and the happiness they meant. Every sundown you will find me with a heart that
It is very mellow.
is content. Smoking my pipe,
It's not as punchy in the chocolate steaks as, say, something like Bob's Chocolate Flake. There's definitely a hint of a creamy milk chocolate there. Yeah, maybe a nutty grassiness, which is the Virginia's contribution to this tobacco.
smoking my pipe. You remember the first time we met?
This tobacco, I'm glad I bought it because I wanted to sample it, and it certainly won't go to waste. It's a nice taste to it. There is chocolate there. There is some grassiness, maybe some nutty, but it's definitely chocolate forward. And I will smoke this. It won't go to waste. But this doesn't compare to the Percy Canoe Latakia 40. But again, I must stress that's just personal, because I do enjoy Latakia heavy blend, so it hasn't got that smoky, swampy kind of charcoaliness of Latakia, but it's got a sweet, mellow, mild, enjoyable, quite Moorish.
You were the only one in that railway carriage who didn't like me smoking my dear old pipe. Compromise, I opened the window. And what a lovely surprise you gave me on our wedding day. A tobacco jar. How I remember each smile.
And although I'm out during the Bothy of Broken Dreams, freezing my bollocks off, so probably not best place to comment on the aroma, I can definitely smell an hint of chocolate, like as if you just opened a fresh box sale after 8 mints. You flip the lid and you just take it. Allow your nose to run across the top of the chocolate wafers and get that. So I can imagine this, if you do smoke it in the house, and your spouse or your partner doesn't mind, then I can imagine this being a pleasant aroma to have floating around the house.
As life's December is drawing near.
It also burns really well.
Time's old ever-moving finger closes one more day, but yet, while such thoughts as mine can linger, I'll have nothing to regret.
Quick charring light and then one proper light. I've been talking a bit and it doesn't, it's not struggling to keep alive. It's smouldering away nicely there in the pipe. That, of course, though, admittedly, is partly to do with the excellent air hole and the way these Blakemar Briars are constructed. The air hole is, I'm not sure the exact dimensions of the air hole, but the drawer on these pipes are excellent. I've never smoked a bad Blakemar.
Smoking my pipe, Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe.
There's the thing with a pipe, you know. You can have the best chunk of briar in the world. Really good quality briar. But if the pipe isn't constructed right, if the maker doesn't take into consideration every part of the pipe, from the shank to the stem to the aero, which allows the smoke to travel through to the smoker, then you're not going to get a good experience no matter how good the briar is. But Blakemar briars are top-notch pipes, to be honest with you. Very, very good quality, not expensive, not dirt cheap, but then they wouldn't be, because these are quite quality lumps of briar, but they're not overly expensive, and they do offer value for money. I've had this now since 2016, so this pipe is nearly 10 years old, and I've bought nearly every club pipe since, from the UK Pipe and Tobacco Group, which are always made by Blakemar, so they're fantastic pipes. As I'm going to mid-bowl now, it's getting even creamier. The chocolate taste now is punching through. But it's not like a milk chocolate, it's more like a dark chocolate. Very, very nice. I can see myself smoking one of these from time to time. Just drinking a Famous Grouse Smoky Black. One's called Famous Grouse Black Cock, but they changed the name because we probably can't handle the name Black Cock now. I think I always remember several years ago I was on a film set. I think we were working on the TV series Blackrise the Candlefoot. And at lunchtime, the pudding, which was Spotted Dick, had suddenly been renamed Spotted Richard, because Spotted Dick would cause offence. So it's just getting crazy, isn't it, all this woke nonsense. So yeah, Famous Grouse Smoky Black, fantastic whiskey, but because I drank it during this previous iteration when it was called Black Cock, and it's even got a photo of a black grouse on the cover, on the label, so it makes sense to be called Black Cock. I'll always think of it as Black Cock. I do like my Black Cock. Ooh. So as you get through the bowl, the chocolate start to become a lot more forward, and I am still getting a grassiness, which is, I would describe it as a Virginia. Virginia's good quality Virginia tobacco always gives a grassy, earthy taste, and I'm getting that here. But it's not the overriding thing, the chocolate, which is a result of the casing. It's working with the tobacco. They've married together, so the natural tobacco tastes and the top-end taste are married perfectly, so one is not overriding the other, and it's very effective. This is a quality tobacco again. Gladora top marks, not only for their sexy little tins, but as I say, I've yet to smoke a Gladora tobacco that doesn't deliver.
As I watch the sun descending and the birds fly home to rest, in the hush when day is ending, that's the hour when I feel blessed.
But going back to the perfect draw on this pipe, you know, Mr. Rick Newcomb, famous pipe writer, who I admire his books In Search of Pipe Dreams, and still searching for pipe dreams very much, even if I believe he did artificially inflate the price of Danish artisan pipes because of how over the top he went on it, but that was his opinion. He loved the pipes, and they certainly are good pipes, and they're not worth the thousands that they went for. But Mr. Newcomb said in his book, and I'm quoting this completely from memory now, so I'm not going to get the exact figures correct, but what he said is whenever he'd buy a pipe, he'd usually take it to a pipe maker that he knew and have the aero drilled that little bit wider, because he claimed it improved the draw, it improved the taste, ultimately improved the taste of the tobacco that you were smoking in this pipe. And that's what I like about these Blakemar Briars. I haven't altered these. They come, the dimensions of the aero as opposed to the bowl and the shank, It seems to be spot on. It seems to be at its full capacity. Perfect. Really good pipes. As you can see, I've been talking, and still doesn't need to be relit.
Smoking my pipe like a whisper through the cornfield comes a gentle evening breeze. At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories. Smoking my pipe.
So yeah, Pessy Canoe Blue Pearl, another fantastic tobacco from Gladora. Mellow, smooth, creamy, chocolatey. As you get more towards the bottom of the bowl, you almost get an oaty, porridgey. This is a really good tobacco. Really good whiskey too. Smoky black or black cock, what's in the name? The point is the liquid within the glass. It's quite nice. Pairs well with this pipe. So anyway, I'm going to spend another 10 minutes or so out here in the broth of your broken dreams and complete and finish this pipe. So I'll leave you now, but I will say please give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below. Do you want to talk about the types of tobacco you like? What about the type of pipes you like to use? And if you haven't done so already, then please click that subscribe button. It's free and it helps this channel grow, and I'd really appreciate that. And also click the little bell down below because you'll be notified whenever I upload another video. So for now, happy smoking, cheers, Yaki Dan, see you soon.
Come into the Tainted Tavern, come sit a while for free. We talk about our musings and devices we've been using.